We're going to bring into the conversation now DA spokesperson Karabo Gagau. Karabo, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Karabo, take us into the heart of the party. What were the reasons that John Steenhuisen, leader of the Democratic Alliance, had requested President Ramaphosa to remove Dion George from his cabinet?
Good evening, Oliver. Good evening to the people of South Africa. Thank you so much for having me. Look, when we entered the GNU, we made a commitment to the people of South Africa that we wanted the best people to represent us in positions, all 12 positions that we have, with the ultimate goal of being able to, one, fast track whatever backlog we have in government service delivery in the positions or ministries thereof that we are occupying. But most importantly, the ultimate goal is to be able to play our part in contributing towards growing the economy, alleviating poverty, and making sure that we have more and more people able to put food on the table for themselves and their families. So when you look at Dr. Dion George and then the both of them, former minister and former deputy minister of trade and industry, that being Andrew Whitfield, and the new people there, both of them carry skill sets that play a very important role in ensuring that with forests, fisheries and environments, that there's expertise and years of understanding in how we can turn forests, fisheries and environments into hubs that are able to unlock business opportunities and economic opportunities there to expand on job creation. But as far as Alexander Abrahams is concerned, what we will be able to do then is to ensure that we look at trade and industry beyond just the technical and boring sense of what trade and industry is. Ultimately, what trade and industry is supposed to do is to ensure that we have the most poorest of the people of our country benefiting from its trade and its industry. And with her social development background, then we will be able to tap into the heart of what plagues social development in this country translated into trade and industry.
Yep.
The same applies, obviously, with forestries and environments with Uncle Valiz. I call him fondly because you would know that we were spokespersons together since I've assumed the role. Fondly so. He's experienced pretty much as a member of parliament for years, serving both in the
just to pause you there,
National Assembly.
Yeah, just to pause you there, we are a bit thin on time. Just to go back to my question, what were the performance indicators that John Steenhuisen looked at that warranted the removal of Dion George? Because we were told that Dion George was underperforming.
I mean, the DA did not tell you that Dion George was underperforming, so perhaps the person who told you he was underperforming would be the one you should ask that question. The Democratic Alliance never, in any formal communication or informal communication, as far as the leadership and myself as the spokesperson of the party is concerned, ever did we say to the people of this republic that the reasons why Dion George was removed from his post was for underperformance. That's something we hear from you. I'm hearing it from you, and I've heard it in the grapevine somewhere, but it's certainly not even half a mile short of a reason that was even tabled to the federal executive of the party as part of the reasons why that the leader would have recommended that Willie Oakam take up that position.
Yeah. So Dion George, as minister, was represented in court on environmental impact assessment on South Africa's energy litigation that's going forth, and he's been defending that pretty well. In fact, the court had noted that a great deal of improvements had taken place on environmental impact assessment on energy exploration in South Africa. Dion George had intervened quite strongly in the feud between penguin activists as well as conservationists. As we know, the penguins are sadly dying, and that comes at the cost of fishermen who are relying on licenses to be able to continue fishing. That's been a long-standing feud. Dion George seems to have found some sort of solution for that, albeit a short-term interim solution. And more than that, he's involved himself quite greatly in South Africa's wildlife conservation, going as far as becoming a certified ranger in the Kruger Park to understand the day-to-day life of wildlife conservation. Those are performance indicators that industry stakeholders have lauded him for. What made him unsuitable, or what made him rather less suited than Willie Oakam?
I love the fact that you're able to praise the work that the Democratic Alliance has been able to do in any ministry. So thank you for that, Oliver. And it is great that the people of the Republic get to hear it from you. And
no, I'm talking about the work. I'm talking about the work of Forestry Fisheries, not the work of the DA. We're talking here about an office bearer. But I'm saying these are what industry stakeholders in the Forestry, Fisheries and Environment sector are saying. Given that I just told you all of that, why is he less suited than Veli Okamp?
Oliver, I implore on you again that allow me to finish my sentences at the very least. That you're centering your question based on Dion George, not the ministry. So allow me to respond to you based on Dion George. As a DA, I would say deployee for a lack of a better expression, that it is great that we are able to come on such platforms and have you give a review of the work that was being done, which is the mandate of the Democratic Alliance, because at the heart of our commitment to the people of the Republic of South Africa, of what it is that we want to do in government, is to be able to do great things which you have been able to outline. However, it is also the responsibility of the Democratic Alliance to expand beyond those things. There is no human being who gets to occupy a position forever for their liking. It is always a political party's responsibility, particularly their leadership, to want to expand and do better. So the things he has done are great, and we thank him for his service there. When initially the GNU was founded, the DA's leadership sent him to that Forestry, Fisheries and Environment post, knowing very well that we would expect him to deliver in line with what is the DA brand, which is getting things done. Accordingly, it is also the responsibility of the leadership to want to always expand and make sure that we do better. And that is exactly what we want to be able to do.
So just to get you clear, Karabo, there was nothing wrong with Dion George. It was just time for him to go.
I mean, the leadership of the party never said there was anything wrong with George.
Okay, so given that there was nothing wrong with the performance of Dion George and he just had to go, that's typically, and we've seen it with other parties, points to things like factionalism battles in the party. Is there does Dion George and John Steenhuisen have a fallout? And can you on record tell us that it's not a factionalized battle?
According to my understanding, unless you know which factional lines exist within the Democratic Alliance, which I, as the spokesperson, don't know of, Oliver, it would be great for you to share those. But what I'm telling you, with authority on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, is that my understanding, and it is also the understanding of the Democratic Alliance, is that Dion George, as the federal finance chairperson of the party, continues to do his works diligently within the party. There's no breakdown of relationship that has been recorded anywhere between anybody. What we must disabuse ourselves of, Oliver, is assuming that people have an entitlement to any position. You must understand that it is the prerogative of any leadership of any political party to want to say, if you've done great until now, just because somebody else is coming after you, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means we have an opportunity to expand and build them, because politics and public service, Oliver, is a game of relay. You take the first baton, I take the second, and towards a shared goal of advancing the best interests of the people of this country, which are poverty alleviation, growing the economy, expanding markets to ensure that more and more people are able to put food on the table for themselves and their families. But also, Dr. Dion George is not the only cabinet person, is not the only appointment shift that the Democratic Alliance has. We have a beautiful opportunity to look at Alexander Abrams. The department.
In fairness, Alexander Abrams was appointed because the president removed Andrew Whitfield. So they had to replace him with someone. So we're not going to talk about that at this moment, because that was due to follow. Just very lastly, Karabo, and I need to be very clear on this. Are you saying to us that the relationship between Dion George and John Steenhuisen is perfect?
I wouldn't know about personal relationships of individuals, because I'm not the
professionally, they're professional relationship.
I am the spokesperson of the DA, and I'm telling you, as far as the DA is concerned, nobody has ever come back to anybody to say there is some sort of contest or battle professionally between the leadership of the DA and not just, and I want to be clear, I don't want it to be a John Steenhuisen versus Dion George thing. It must be the party's leadership, which is FedEx at the end of the day that takes the decision, and any human being.
Okay.
On any given, even if I were, for example, miraculously, if God wills, to become the Minister of Higher Education in this country, if the leadership of the political party that sent me there thanks me for my jobs and believes I have done enough and that it is time for somebody else to carry the baton, it is gracefully my responsibility to say I have, to my best of my abilities, serve the people of this country, move on. There's no entitlement there.
Yeah, Karabo, thank you so much for your time. I guess we'll see it play out. The DA is about 5 months away from its Congress, right? Interesting times ahead. That's Karabo Kakao, the spokesperson of the Democratic Alliance, reacting there to the appointment of Vali Okamp as the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, and the firing of Dr. Dion George from that portfolio.